Hi, I'm Audrey. I'm from Freebird Yoga, and today's short session is focusing on the spine, specifically the cervical spine. So it's really the upper part of the neck, and we're working on trying to improve our posture, especially our awareness around our posture, increasing our mobility and flexibility, really strengthening our core and back muscles, and really also releasing tension and pain in the neck. As we all know, we're often on our laptops like this, or we're holding onto the remote, looking at our phones. So it's such an important part of the body to really focus on. Before we get started, it's important to remember that if you have any pinching, numbness, anything that does not feel right in the body, take a pause, come back to neutral, which is where I'm right now. You know your body best, so it's important to really listen. And our posture throughout this session is really, really important as well. So you might be able to see that I have a little blanket here, and that's just to help support as a cushion, but it's also to help tilt my pelvis a little bit. I'm sitting at the edge of the chair, which also helps with my posture, because if we're sitting on the back of the chair, we tend to slouch a little bit and create a bit of an arch. So you can use a blanket from home or even a cushion. I'm also going to use some props today, but I will give you alternative ideas that you can use whether you're at the office or at home, watching TV, wherever you are. So with that, we're going to get started. So we're going to start with just a few deep breaths. So you can close your eyes if you'd like, if that feels safe, or you can keep your eyes open, just maybe gazing off at a spot in the distance. And we're just going to take a nice deep breath in through our nose and out through our mouth. So breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. We call this lion's breath. So to really truly make it like a lion's breath, we breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. You might feel super silly doing it. I certainly do, but it's fun to bring that joy into your practice. Maybe if you're at work, you don't want to do that, in which case you can always just breathe in and out of your nose. It's no problem. We're gonna do it one more time. And again, through that exhale, just allow your body to relax even further. So again, in through the nose, out through the mouth. So you don't have to stick your tongue out if you don't want to. It just adds a little flair. So with that, we're gonna now add some movement into the body. So focusing again on the cervical spine, the neck area, we're gonna start by bringing our left ear to our left shoulder. So really slowly, millimeter by millimeter, we're just drawing that ear towards the shoulder, and you're gonna really start to feel that stretch up that side spine, side neck. So again, if you feel pinching or anything uncomfortable, come out of it. But if this feels okay for you, you can hold it here for a couple breaths. So again, connecting with that breath in and out of the nose. Allowing your body to relax even further into the stretch. And then coming back to neutral. And you can take a pause here if you need, or if you're ready, you can go into a flow. So you're going to come back onto the other side, slowly drawing the right ear towards the right shoulder, and then holding it here for a couple breaths. Again, connecting with that breath in and out of the nose. Nice and gentle and relaxed. And coming back to neutral. If it feels good for you and you want to loosen those muscles up even more, you can continue with that flow. So you could do an exhale to the side. Inhale to center. Exhale to the other side. So you can continue at your own pace, following your breath, following that flow. And then after your next exhale, coming back to neutral. And now we're going to bring the chin down to the chest. So we're going to hold it there. So just allowing the weight of your head to come down. You're going to hold it here for a couple breaths. Again, allowing your body to relax even further through the exhale. And then coming back to neutral. So now we're going to come chin up to ceiling. And we're going to hold it here for a couple breaths. You're going to really feel a stretch through the throat. It might feel a little bit uncomfortable, but it's a good stretch because we don't often stretch through our throat. Then you're going to hold it here for a couple breaths. And then after the next exhale, you're going to come back to neutral. And then we're going to take our gaze to the side. So really slowly, we're going to bring our gaze to the left shoulder. You might not be able to get to the left shoulder. It might be that you stop just even at about 40 degrees, even after a couple millimeters. That might feel like enough of a stretch, or if it's accessible, you can continue to slowly bring your gaze in the direction of the back of the room. Holding it here for a couple breaths, ensuring that you're still grounded down through your feet, your spine is elongated, and then you're going to bring your gaze back to center and then taking it onto the other side. Nice and relaxed and restful, and coming back to neutral. So again, if that feels good for you, you could continue with that flow where you're exhaling out to the side, inhaling back to center, exhaling to the other side, inhaling back to center. So doing that as long as it feels good for you, it's a really nice, simple exercise. Even if you just did that every morning or every time you go to open your emails or turn on the TV, you'll really feel that in your neck. It will relieve a lot of the tension and stress that we hold there. So now we're going to go into a seated cat-cow stretch. It might sound funny for those that have not done yoga before. I promise we're not going to go into some kind of animal play or anything like that. It's just a really nice exercise for spine mobility, especially the lumbar and thoracic spine, but it's really great just to relieve any kind of back tension. And I think these days, most of us will have some back tension, the way that we sit in our chairs, the amount of time we sit in our chairs or our car. So this is a really great exercise for that. I'm gonna show you facing forward as well as side so you can see what it looks like. But just a reminder that all of our anatomy, all of our bodies are different. So again, it's just about listening to your body, and if it feels good for you and you feel like it's a nice stretch, don't worry about how I'm looking. It's more about listening to what's good for you. So with this, we're going to be bringing our belly button forward and the chin is going to be going up towards the ceiling. So we're inhaling, creating a nice arch in that spine. Exhaling, we're drawing that belly button towards the back of the room or the chair, or maybe you're sitting on the ground and you're drawing that chin to chest. So you're creating, this is the cow if you were curious, and this is what I call angry cat because it's got the nice arch in the spine. And I'll show you from the side as well. So if you're on a chair, you can turn to the side. I'm using blocks down here. If you don't have yoga blocks, you can use books. It sounds wild, maybe don't be using books from work, but it's a nice way just to bring the floor up to you and to ensure that your feet are hip-width distance apart while you're doing this stretch. You're relaxing your hands on your thighs, and again, the belly button is coming forward, chin up towards the ceiling. Exhaling, drawing that belly button in and drawing the chin down to the chest. And again, this is where it's really nice to have the blanket underneath just to help with the cushioning a little bit. And again, don't be scared to use books or blocks or whatever you need to bring the earth up to you. I'm a shorty, so sometimes I need just a little extra help to be able to have my body aligned for that. So now we're going to go into a bit of a spinal twist. So this is really bringing in a stretch in the thoracic spine. It's good for posture, rotation, back tension, all of those things. So again, I'll show you forward as well as side. So again, if you're in the chair at work, you can start with your hands on your thighs. You can place your right hand onto the side of the chair, okay? This can just really help with stability. It can also help deepen the stretch as well. The left hand goes onto the right thigh. This can be relaxed, or you can open up the palm and use that to, again, help deepen that stretch. And before we twist, we want to make sure that our feet are stable. So we want to focus on all four corners of our feet, that they're hip width distance apart. and that our hips are still forward. So in this stretch, we're really rotating from the waist up, okay? So really focusing on that, okay? So from here, your gaze is starting forward, and then you're millimeter by millimeter gonna start to bring your gaze around towards that right shoulder. So nice and gentle, nice and relaxed. And you might want to hold it here for a couple breaths. You could even bring your gaze back and then try again with a deep exhale. So really deepening that stretch. So you're inhaling, and through the exhale, you're going into that stretch again. And maybe you're moving your gaze just a millimeter further back. And then returning to center. But again, if that stretch felt too deep for you, you can always just focus on your gaze being forward and just stretching in that lower spine. Okay, then now we're gonna take it onto the other side. So again, taking a second to ground down, relaxing the shoulders, feet hip-width distance apart, taking the left palm onto the side of the chair, the right hand onto the left. Again, you can just have this relaxed, or you can open it, palm open towards the left side of the room, and then we're slowly bringing our gaze around and holding it for a couple breaths. And slowly bringing your gaze back to center, and then bringing your hands back down to thighs. Now we're going to go into a bit of a side bend. So this is really good for lengthening the spine. So we're going to be bringing our arms up overhead. So bringing the palms together like this. For some of you, it might be that it's okay just in heart center. So it's just feeling what feels best for your body. This might be enough where you're just holding it here. And then slowly, millimeter by millimeter, you're just drawing your fingertips up towards the ceiling. And you're really going to feel the stretch in your spine, maybe your neck, and holding it here for a couple breaths. Returning back to center, and then taking it onto the other side. So nice and gentle and relaxed. It's not about how far you can bend. It's opening that chest up. It's reaching energetically through those fingertips. And like I mentioned, it might be that you're coming here in prayer. It might be that your arms are just out in front, and that's okay. You're still going to get that side body stretch. And then coming back to center and releasing the hands to thighs. Now we're going to go into a forward fold. For anybody that has any issues with blood pressure, you want to just go and skip to the next step, which is our final resting posture. If it's okay for you, and knowing that we are in the chair, so it's a little safer to do inversions, which is where the head is coming below the waist, you can go ahead and give this a try and just be very careful as you come back up. So with the forward folds, we're keeping our feet planted on the mat, and we're just bringing the chest forward. This might be enough for some of you, or if it feels accessible, you can release your head down towards the mat or the ground, relaxing your hands down towards the mat. So we're just allowing the body like a rag doll to fall down. And then you're gonna roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. Your head being the last thing to come up. So again, we're doing this nice and slow for anybody with any blood pressure issues or things like that. Now we're gonna do it one more time, and I'm gonna show you some things that you can do to support the forward fold, because it can be such a nice exercise to relieve any tension in the lower back, the hamstrings, the hips. It's really kind of an exercise that can be done for any part of the body. So again, you might have yoga blocks. You might need books. That's totally fine. It's amazing what you can find in the home that can be used as yoga props. And just a reminder, as we're exhaling, we're really hinging at the hips. So we're really hinging here. We're keeping the sit bones on the chair. And then you might want to use the blocks or the books to rest your hands on. And again, this might be enough for some of you, or you can drop your head towards the mat and relax down. And again, slowly rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae, your head being the last thing to come up. Good. So now we're going to go into a seated back bend. This sounds more scary than it is, I promise you. So some of you might have a strap at home, which is just a yoga strap. Some of you might not. So if you don't, you can just use a belt. You could use any kind of string that you use for your bathrobe. There's so many things you can use around the house. You also might not need to use it at all. So I will demonstrate, and then you can have a little play around to see what works for you. So you're gonna hold, there's usually a metal bit on a strap, or even if you're using a belt or a ruler, whatever it is, you wanna make sure you're holding onto the bit that is metal so it doesn't cause any injury or anything like that. We're gonna turn onto the side of our chair. So again, this is where a blanket is really helpful to have as a cushion. You might want to use books or blocks under your feet if that's helpful for you. And we're just going to hold on to the belt, and we're going to hold it by our side. And again, this might be a strap or a belt, whatever works for you. From here, you're going to draw it towards the back of the room. So again, that might be enough for some of you. And if it is, you can even try to then draw the left shoulder, and you'll feel that in your upper body, your spine, your neck. If it's accessible and you're able to, you can hold onto the belt so the fingertips are coming underneath the strap of the belt, and then you're holding it here behind your back. Again, this might be enough for some of you, or if you're able to and it's accessible, you can bring your chest forward. So we're keeping the spine aligned. The head is not dropping further down. All the way from the lumbar spine to the crown of the head, we're keeping it as straight as can be. Again, everyone's anatomy is going to be a little bit different. And then from here, you're going to edge the strap towards the back of the room. So you're going to start to feel that back bend a little bit. And this is where you do want to create a little bit of an arch in the spine. And again, don't forget to breathe in and out of your nose. And every time you exhale, you might want to draw that strap millimeter by millimeter. And this might be enough for you to feel that stretch. Just holding it here for a couple breaths. And then as you come up, just allowing your back to arch, feeling that nice stretch in the spine. And then slowly coming all the way up, gently returning the strap to your right hand, and then returning back to front. So if you did that, give yourself a huge pat on the back or a high five just for trying something a bit new. And now we're going to go into our final resting posture, just a couple breaths to finish. So before we go into this, if you have a blanket or a pillow or even your jacket at work, you can roll it up and you can place it behind your back. It could be if the chair only has a rest up top, you can place it behind there. And it just allows you to rest a little bit more into the chair. This is an opportunity where we don't have to worry about posture as much. It's just a couple breaths and it just allows the body to relax. So we're just going to finish with a few breaths in and out of our nose. Again, following those sensations as they enter the nostrils and leave the nostrils. Letting the shoulders relax away from the ears. Allowing your body to relax even further after every exhale. Giving yourself that permission to relax, whether it's the start of the day or the end. In this very moment, you don't have anywhere you have to be. So just taking this time to connect with that breath. Not worrying about the thoughts. It's perfectly normal for them to be in your mind, but just let them be there. We don't have to engage with them or judge them. after your next exhale, we're going to slowly blink our eyes back open if they were closed, carefully removing that blanket if you had it as a prop, returning back to neutral, and then bringing the palms together into prayer. And again, just taking the time to appreciate yourself for showing up. Even if it's 10-15 minutes a day, it's such a beautiful gift you can give yourself, given all that's going on in the world. So thank you for letting me teach you.